Hi there. I'm so excited about this month. It is actually a pretty simple month with a little bit less fat, cuts. And there's just one thing I need to tell you. You're going to learn a partial cut, a partial sewing. Some of you already know it, but if you're newer to sewing, I will teach you how to do this partial seam. And I've been doing it a lot. When I do t-shirt quilts, I use partial seams all the time and I love them. It makes something when you're sewing look like people who don't sew, they go, how in the world did you sew that together? And I love that aspect of it. All right, so this is what our block looks like. And I'm going to be working with the yellow because I always have to make one just so I can learn any pitfalls and stuff like that before I do it because I'm sewing along with you. All right, let's get going. So I am doing these in a little bit different of a colorway. Sometimes I change it up and sometimes I do exactly the same. With the purple, I changed up too, but this one I'm going to probably be changing a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to keep it from the top to the bottom. Today we are working with, sorry, I didn't get it, the Hex and More ruler. This is the only one you'll need this week. We're not doing doubles or anything, so that's a lot of fun. So we put that right there. I do use a straight ruler. Oh, I don't have my sew tights today. I'm sorry about that. I took it down for a larger product and I forgot to put it back up, but we love our sew tights magnetic mat and ruler. I just forgot to put it back up because I was working with really big, large pieces and I needed the larger mat. But we're doing that today. And I like this mat too. Just like the magnetic side, it holds it down a little better for me. Okay, so we are going to start with the one on top. And just because we're cutting that one first, no, I guess I do have to decide on. All right, so this top one, I think I'm going to make C. This is A and this is B. And let me look at these. Those are a little better. Okay, so this top one, I'm going to write in my book. This top one, I'm going to actually make C. The second one is going to be A, and the third one, right? Second one, yes, the second one's A, and the third one is B. I'm only looking at that right now. I think I'm going to keep the other ones the same, but for these, I'm changing it around a little bit. So for the one on top, I'm using for block C. I'm not using for, cut C, not cut A. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Okay. So for cut C, we are making half hexes. All right, so you cut according to the pattern, your strip, and you cut two of those. You will not need this piece, so that's a nice scrap to have. You take one like this, and you take your Hex and More and line it up with your size of the half hexie. And then I put that point right to the edge of that ruler. Then we cut off like that. And we have that little tip and we have this big piece. Then what you're going to do is you're going to flip this fabric over. So the wrong side is now facing up if you're using anything other than solids. And then you line it up and cut along that edge again. You have a shape like that, and that is one of your hexies. So that's one of them. Put it there, and then you do the same thing with this other piece. You line it up, make sure over here that your tip does not extend over that edge. You're going to want that that little cut piece. And you trim like that. Then you flip over, line it up, and trim. Oops, got a little piece right there. I think I got it. Yeah. And there is your other hexie. All right, so now we have 2 of those. And I'm going to take a second. I always take just a little second. And think, yeah, we can do it like this. Take one of those little excess pieces and it lines up just like you need for the square, for the triangle, for the pillow, that extra little project. And I have got my little fussy cut shape that I'm going to cut, trim those tips off. All right, that's all ready. And now I am going to trim for the color card. All right, so this is C. So the first one we're using is C. You do whatever you want to do. You do you. So that goes in our little collection of triangles that we have going here. I just keep mine in a little baggie. Get some of these scraps out of the way. All right, so the next color we're using is the corn yellow, and I am doing cut A from this. We are cutting a full hexie of this one, so nice and easy. I'm loving this one. It's such, easy cutting, easy piecing. Your mind is going to be blown if you've never done a partial seam before. All right, we line it up. Remember not to extend your ruler outside of that edge right there. You will be disappointed with a partial hexagon. All right, then we trim off like this. And all we have to do is not turn over, just turn around and then line up your lines here with the size you're doing and trim, and there is your hexagon. Easy enough. So we can put that to the side. Now we've got this piece. I'll move it up here so you can see it. We're cutting a triangle. I'm a big believer of cutting as you go, because you get to the end of this and you'll be like, I don't want to cut all those triangles. And it doesn't take very long. We are already 2 colors in of 6. So again, this is fast today. Fast, fast, fast. All right, we've got lots of extra of these. Do not have to worry about which way you turn it this time. You have plenty. Oh, I need to grab a piece for my swatch card. Just going to cut like that and then cut. Yeah. I really like having the swatch card. So we're going to put that in there. All right, next color. The next color we are cutting for B, which is also half hexies, so nice and easy. Just cut your strips according to your pattern. And I'm going to show you how to do it by layering it. You do not have to layer it if you do not want to. If you want to layer though, I'm going to show you, just line it up very carefully. Line it up. Then you do the same thing. Make sure you don't extend out to the edge there. Make sure the top and bottoms match up. Trim that little point. Okay, I'm just going to carefully remove it. Then we are flipping it over. Stayed nice and tight together. Then we're matching up. There we go. And all done. This side right here is a little tricky. What I'm going to do is line this back up with that one. I don't think it was because it was layered. It's just I didn't trim it right. All right, there are your 2 half hexies. We are done with the first 3 fabrics other than cut our triangle. Line it up. And trim. And if you don't have that little fussy cut shape, what you do is you line it up on the end there and just trim one corner at a time. Line it up and trim. It is worth trimming your triangles, I promise you. All right, let's get rid of some of these scraps. Time for the next set. Oh, I keep forgetting my swatch card. All right. I'm so excited about sewing this and showing you the partial seam that I'm like, well, I want to get sewing. All right, here we go. Due diligence, take the time and cut correctly, then you don't have to worry about it. And just a reminder, if you do want extra of any of these fabrics, we do have them on the website. You should have a link for them in the email that I sent out. Sorry, I hit my microphone. So you can check there and get the link, or if you go to the website and you do filters, you can look up Kona solids. There's in the filters, there's one that says Kona solids, and you can look at all the ones we have. They come in either the 10-inch square or a rough cut 11-inch. That's how we're selling them right now. Okay, so I want to look at these 3 kind of out like this for my other ones. I think I like the way this is, so I'm going to leave these. All right, this first one, we are doing D, E, and F. I want to make sure that we have that on there. And we are cutting triangles from this. So nice and easy. Cut according to the pattern, your strip. We always start with the strip. You are not going to use this at all. It's a whole big old piece. All right. Then you're going to take the Hexamore and line it up with the size that you need, downside and one side of the other. Then what you're going to do is flip the ruler over, line it up, and trim your triangle. Okay, so I'm a big believer of trimming them. Even if you don't think you need them, it just makes it so much better. And on this one, I can assure you, you're going to be happy that you trimmed because it lines up so much better. All right, let's get these done real quick. These are the only 2 triangles this time, besides what you're cutting for the pillows. So not a lot of triangles. And you can chain piece on this one. So the first sews are a nice little chain, which I always, if I can chain piece, I will. All right, there are our triangles. Again, we're going to cut for the pillow. And I'm going to cut for the swatch book. This one's sunflower. And put that in there. See, it's getting all nice and pretty. All right. I'm going to take my little thing here so I can get them trimmed pretty quickly. Trim and trim. That is done. All right, we are moving on along. We only have 2 more pieces to cut before we get sewing. It's an easy cut this time, not as many pieces. All right, we are back to half hexes. So cut your 2 strips. And one more. Move that up a little bit. There we go. Don't need that piece. Again, I'm going to stack and cut. It makes this go just a little bit faster. Stacking it up right on top of each other. And I think last time it slipped on me, so I'm going to be sure to rest my pinky off of the end of it so that I can hold it a little bit tighter. And make sure that comes off. Perfect. I'm going to flip it over, make sure it all stays nice and neat. Line it up. That looks much better this time. Keeping my pinky off to give it some grip. And there are our 2 hexies. The next one I'll do individually again, just so you can get another look at that and what that looks like. And take a minute. Cut our triangle. And again, if you don't have one, you cut one little point at a time. All right, that goes with the triangles. We're on scraps. All right, the last one. Oh, forgot to pull a little. This is canary. I made that a little big, but I can still see it. All right, last one. Last one. Cut your strips. And again, I'm going to show you individually just in case you missed the first one or you would like me to review it again. So you line it up, make sure this tip doesn't extend over the edge of the fabric. You're going to want to get that little tip in. And then we cut those 2 edges off. You flip it over, line it up with the size that you are looking at, and trim that, and then you have your hexagon. Then you do the last one. Don't extend past that fabric, and you don't even have to go to the edge of the fabric. If you don't feel comfortable, give it a little bit of space. It still is going to do the same shape. Then you turn over and cut your half hexie, and you are done with the pieces. That's it. So fun. All right, now this is the last triangle that we cut for this one. I don't know, oh, my little fussy cut shape. For those of you who have one, just line it up and trim and trim. one more quick. While you do this one, just trim that a little bit. All right, last one in. Cool, cool. We're done. So I'm going to show you. Let's get some of these scraps out of the way. All right, I'm keeping my little baggie here. And I'm just gathering up. This is all the purples that we've used this time, which, you know, whatever you start with, you still have that to do. Already done mine. And I'm just keeping them all in this little baggie. Try to make sure they don't get curved or folded or anything. But I've got all those pieces. They're all trimmed and everything. All right. And this is month 6. We're getting there. I'm glad you've hung with me. It's been fun. I'm really excited about this block. I love it. Okay, I'm going to show you one more time. This is what we're going to be sewing. So what I do is I get my little board out, my little project board, and we're starting with the hexagon like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew. Now you see why clipping those corners, it really helps it match up. You're going to sew one to this side and one to this side. All right. And then we need E, which this is E, and this is F. So E goes right here, and F goes right here. And we're going to sew these two together. Then we've got B, and C. We're going to sew these two together. And then you're going to put the B and C here. And then the E and F. So the E goes like this and the F goes like this. It doesn't look like they go together, but they do. So you can sew these two together, these two together, these two together, and these two together, and then these to each end. So that's why I say you can chain piece. We're going to fold this. We're going to fold it and line it up like that, and then sew across, and that will sew them together. So now let's head over to the machine and let's do some chain piecing.